All right, so back to our lecture now. So the Medici family sponsor a lot of these artists to make their work. And families like the Medici family, who are merchants, they start becoming more and more and more powerful. And many of the people like the projects they build. They build big churches with new architecture. They sponsor new paintings, and it's for the public to see. So a lot of the public start liking these merchants much more than the nobles or the kings. And the merchants in Italy start taking power in their cities. The Medici family, they pretty much run the city of Florence. They're pretty much running the show in the city of Florence. They have no title, they haven't been elected to anything, but they're in complete control. So, let's move ahead. And let's look at how the Renaissance changes Europe. How the Renaissance and the Crusades affect and changed Europe.
Yeah.
All right, I think there's no slide on the original one, but you can just keep writing on there. All right, so the Renaissance pretty much ends what is called feudalism. Feudalism is the time period where we had the nobles who were living on their small little plots of land, and they were fighting other nobles. And there wasn't a strong central power, there wasn't a strong emperor. What happens is, these merchants, as they become more powerful, we see the merchants form an alliance with the kings and the emperors. Basically, the merchants want to sell their goods everywhere. They don't want to have to stop in one noble's land and have fighting going on between two nobles. They don't want to do that. They want to be able to sell everywhere. So what happens is the merchants form an alliance with the kings. Basically, the merchants are willing to pay taxes to the king and the emperor, or the emperor, whoever it be, king, emperor. They're willing to pay them taxes. And the king is willing to build roads. The kings are even willing to protect the merchants, like the Mongols did, like the Muslims did with their Sharia law. They're willing to protect them so the merchants can sell more. And then they ask the merchants to pay more taxes, and the merchants are okay with that as long as they can now sell their goods. Who gets cut out of this? The nobles start seeing less money. We're almost done. Also, the nobles, many of them sponsored crusades. They would gather their knights and do a crusade and fight for the church. Some of them didn't come back. Their land was taken away. Many of them lose their fortunes fighting these crusades. And also, the merchants start having more money, the cities get bigger, and the merchants gain more power. All right, give me 2 minutes. Sorry, we're almost done. Nation states develop. What's a nation state? It's kind of like a modern country in Europe. Like, let's call this one France. You have the king, who's able to take those taxes, build roads, and even build an army. And they keep taxing the merchants who do business, and this becomes a cycle where they become more powerful. The nobles start to lose their land and power, and these countries become more powerful. They'll become empires in our next era. Lastly, population of Europe goes from 38 million to 76 million. The cities start growing. Europe is connected to trade routes, and Europe is ready to take off. And we'll talk about the effects of that in our upcoming chapters. Homework for tonight and for Monday.